Right. Thank you, Madam Speaker. In view of time constraints, I will simply say all protocol observed. Thank you. In view of time constraints, I rise here on behalf of Umkhonto weSizwe, the party which I lead in Parliament, and the party which was I rise here on behalf of Umkhonto weSizwe, the party which I lead in Parliament, to respond to the speech that was made by the President last night. Our position is as follows. The establishment of the Government of National Unity is singularly a very cruel joke by the Ramaphosa faction of the ANC and the Democratic Alliance, perpetuated against the oppressed and downtrodden masses of our people. Our people are painfully aware that it would be impossible to create a united nation in South Africa unless the legacy of colonialism and apartheid was addressed. For a very long time, South Africans have been constituted by two nations, one black, poor, and economically disempowered and excluded, and the other white, rich, and in command of most of the means of production, material, and incorporeal resources and advantages of our society. These are not my words. These are the words of the former President, Thabo Mbeki. He uttered these words many years ago, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed fundamentally since Thabo Mbeki made those remarks. My question to you, President, is this. Through what magic do you hope to forge a national unity of the oppressor and the oppressed, the exploiter and the exploited? The rich capitalists and the toiling and exploited working class. Our position is very clear. When the ANC could not secure majority, it became desperate, and the government, so-called Government of National Unity, was no more than a desperate and deliberate attempt to hold on to power. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Now, if the ANC formed the so-called Government of National Unity on the basis that it was the largest party, you ask yourself, why was that principle not extended to the province of KZN? It is a fact that Umkhonto weSizwe won the province of KZN convincingly. We know that. That is a fact. That is a fact. Now, if there was consistency in the principle that the party which has the largest majority, one would have expected that to be done in KZN. The students of political science, Mr. President, will tell you a simple fact. You don't form a government of national unity when there is no crisis. A government of national unity is formed when there is a crisis. We had it in 1994 in this country. We had it in 1994 in this country because there was a crisis and we're emerging from apartheid. There is no crisis. The only crisis is that the ANC has lost the majority. Now, we understand why the ANC has lost the majority, and you know it too. What I find striking is this. There were so many parties that campaigned openly against the ANC. There were many parties that said they will never work with the ANC. But when they were offered blue lights, they suddenly fell in love with the ANC. Quite frankly, I respect someone like Minister Gayton Mackenzie, whose views were always clear. He said he will work with any party, and he has been consistent in that regard. There are parties here which campaigned against the ANC, but when the opportunity to be on the gravy train came, they went for it. The MK party is very clear. We are aware that your propagandists have been spreading the lie that a national unity government in South Africa could help deepen democracy because it means no one political party can impose its agenda on all and sundry. But we are not fooled, Mr. President. We are not fools. It is very clear that the DA has a veto power in respect of the so-called government of national unity. The MK party was excluded and denied participation in the sellout GNU because we do not agree with the ANC and the DA racist on many fronts. In our manifesto, we were loud and clear. I quote, "The MK party is committed to transformative change across all sectors of South African society.
Thank you very much.
Our policies are designed to address the most pressing challenges we face today."
Order. Order, honorable members. Can we all be in order and allow the speaker on the podium to proceed?
I will go back to our manifesto. The MK party is committed to transformative change across all sectors of South African society. Our policies are designed to address the most pressing challenges we face today: economic inequality, inadequate access to quality education and healthcare, national security threats, inequitable land distribution, and the need for robust traditional leadership and foreign policies that reflect our values and aspirations. Through our manifesto as the MK party, we aim to lay down a clear path towards a more equitable, secure, and prosperous future for all South Africans. The restitution of land to black South Africans remains a yardstick against which sellout ANC and DA-GNU government, against which your performance will be measured. Land has symbolic value to us. It means so much to us. As President Mandela once said in 1995, with freedom and democracy came restoration of the right to land, and with it the opportunity to address the effects of centuries of dispossession and denial. In a similar vein, President Luthuli of the ANC once declared the following. He said, "Without land, there is no dignity." Our own president, Msholozi, said the following. He said the following, "Iy'nkinga zethu zaqala ngesikhathi kufika abamhlophe kuleli. Bathatha umhlaba wethu, bathatha nomcebo wethu, bafika nomthetho wabo, bazenzela unothanda nje." Namhlanje asinamhlaba, namhlanje asinamfuyo, konke kwathathwa ngesihluku. Salwa silwela umhlaba wethu, asizange sivele siwanike abelungu. At this point, I want to recognize our traditional leaders who are here as part of Umkhonto weSizwe, because in Umkhonto weSizwe, we believe that the land belongs to the nation and the land belongs to the people. His Majesty, the King of the Khoi and the San people, Glenn Taiposh. His Majesty, King Dalindyebo Matutu. His Majesty, King Zwelethhu Mthethwa is here. And finally, our own president is a king, Ubaba Zuma. Yes, he is.
Order.
Our position is very clear.
Order.
Our position is very clear.
Honorable members, when we are heckling, we can do so without drowning the speaker. If we want to converse among ourselves, we can also do so without drowning the speaker. Can we please allow the speaker to proceed?
Our position is very clear. Umkhonto weSizwe was formed because we believe that the ANC of Ramaphosa is not capable of delivering. It has failed dismally. It has failed the...
Honorable Speaker, can you take a seat? Honorable Hlophe, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Speaker. There are people in the House, Speaker, who are drowning the Speaker. We never disrupted anyone.
Order, honorable members. I want to hear the point of order. What's the point of order, Honorable Hlophe?
I'm saying that you are not protecting the Speaker on the podium. He's being drowned.
I've just done that.
Because people are losing their heads here. I don't know.
Honorable
you lost
Hlophe,
votes, now you are losing
order.
your heads. Listen to the honorable judge.
Honorable Hlophe,
Discipline.
Honorable
Please,
Hlophe,
Speaker,
take your seat.
Protect the
Take
Speaker
your
on the
seat.
podium.
Order, honorable members. When we make points of order, we do just that. We don't have a debate. Can we now ask Honorable Hlophe to proceed with his speech?
I proceed. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I'm going to proceed.
Order. The Chief Whip of the DA, what's your point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I believe during his point of order, the Honourable Ndlozi referred to the Speaker at the podium, the leader of the opposition, as Judge Hlophe. I don't think that an impeached judge can be called a judge anymore. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Order, honourable members. Honourable members, I have ruled, can we all be in order and allow the Speaker on the podium to proceed? Honourable member, you have your point of order.
Well, I'm not going to descend to that level. I've got better titles.
Can you take your seat? Yes, honourable member, what's your point of order? Yeah.
I know that we are not sitting there as umuntu wakwagogo. Sibawa ukuthi indlu kube ne-order ngoba into leyenzeka nje mase kunomunye in particular ama-racists makakhuluma la we will respond with the way they are
Order,
responding.
honourable member.
Ujudge Hlophe akaliswe
Order.
our leader ukuthi aqede speech sakhe, please.
Honourable member.
We have listened to uChief Whip
Can you please take your
azange
seat?
simdisturbe, please.
Ngicela ukuthi amalunga ahloniphekile alendlu yesishayamthetho sonke silalelane. Ngikhulumile nani nonke ngathi sicela ukuthi sinikeze umuntu oseqongeni akwazi ukukhuluma. Kodwa nonke uma senikhuluma senixokozela akazukwazi ukuthi simuzwe. Nathi thina ke esimxhasayo ngicela nje ukuthi sonke simlalele. Qhubeka lunga elihloniphekile.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. President, in 2022, the World Bank reported that inequality in South Africa gave South Africa an unfortunate inequality in South Africa. South Africa is a country which has a problem to do with inequality. It reported that 80% of the country's wealth was in the hands of 10% of the population. And it is the black population who factor most in the poorest category. The report places the blame for the income disparities directly on race. The legacy of colonialism and apartheid, rooted in racial segregation, continues to reinforce inequality in South Africa, the report stated. This is clear proof that the end of formal apartheid in 1994 did not end the real problems that we have in this country. And against that, I'm asking you, President, how are you hoping to sustain the so-called government of national unity when your interests are fundamentally and diametrically opposed in the so-called government of national unity? As the MK party, we are interested in genuine and real transformation of South Africa. This cannot simply mean having a nice, toothless constitution or so-called world's best constitution. We are not and can never be satisfied with our judges regurgitating Roman law, which was imported into this country through the genocidal force and forced down our throats. When we were colonized, we had our own systems of justice in place. African customary law, which is close to our heart. Colonization brought with it a foreign legal system, Roman Dutch law, and this was done in order to protect and preserve the interests of those who colonize us. I challenge you to tell me a single country in Europe which is governed by African law. A single country in Europe which is governed by African law. If you can't tell me, why do we allow Roman Dutch law, which does not reflect the views and the aspirations of the majority of the people in this country? Why do we allow that to be a system in place? Why? The conclusion is inescapable that that legal system is there to preserve the interests of the privileged white minority in South Africa at the expense of millions of poor black people that we represent in this parliament. It is our considered view that the speech that was delivered by the President yesterday fails on so many fronts. The President mentioned building infrastructure in rural areas. I don't know when that is going to start. He has never done it before. What would make us believe that he would suddenly now focus on rural areas as a priority? Why would he suddenly do that now? You have never done it before, Mr. President. It is our considered view that if we want to bring about fundamental changes, we need to invest in infrastructure, particularly in rural areas. Now, the problem is, where is money going to come from? Because we keep borrowing money every day, Mr. President. Our view is further that we need serious agrarian revolution in this country to turn things around in agriculture. We need agrarian revolution, which has been lacking. Rural areas in the main have not been taken seriously. Whilst, of course, the struggle continues for Section 25 of the Constitution to be amended. We are not apologetic about our stance. We remain firm. Section 25 of the Constitution must be amended. It is our considered view. Thank you. It must be amended to make provision for expropriation of land without compensation. That is the only way we can redress imbalances of the past and ensure that each and every South African has access to land in this country. Once there is access to land, so many of the problems that we have will be dealt with. For example, there will be no influx control. We all know people leave rural areas because they are not developed. They are poorly resourced. They leave rural areas, go to big cities like Cape Town, Durban, Johannesburg, looking for better opportunities. When they get there, there are no opportunities. But if land were to be restored to our people, they will be confined in those areas, provided they are developed. There will be no need for them to leave those areas and go to urban areas. Furthermore, access to land will ensure that everybody has bread on the table. I know there are members in some of the parties who say there is Ingonyama Trust land, for example, in KZN, and that land is not being used. That is clearly a lie. People who live in those areas are not dependent on your 350 rand per month, Mr. President. They are serious farmers. They practice subsistence farming in those areas. They are not dependent on your 350 rand for them to live. So we need to invest in agrarian revolution, make sure we turn things around. The other way of generating jobs, which is covered in our manifesto, we should reintroduce compulsory military training. That will absorb our young men and women who have no job and teach them to be disciplined. It will immediately turn things around. There is no question about it. We clearly need to reduce spending. It is very clear as a result of this bloated cabinet. It's all about blue lights. It's all about fancy cars, and you have forgotten the reason why you were elected, Mr. Ramaphosa, in the first place. We have forgotten the reasons. You have, to put it bluntly, you have sold out. We in the MK will continue to fight for Section 25 of the Constitution to be amended. We will continue to fight for the improvement of the quality of the life of our people, particularly those who live in rural areas, who are by and large black, and I'm using the term black generically. Until those aspirations, we will continue to fight. We will do it in a peaceful and lawful manner. There are parties here, some of them are in government, in the government of national unity. I've heard some people, ministers, advocating the death penalty. That is unconstitutional, and nobody has said they are acting unconstitutionally. The death penalty was outlawed in this country way back in 1995. Now, to find a cabinet minister advocating death penalty without the Constitution being amended is ridiculous. Where we come from in the MK party, we will continue to act within the law, and it is our right as politicians to act within the law so that the law can be changed, so that it will benefit the majority of the people in this country. Until such time that Africa and Africans are free, the struggle will continue. And insulting us and howling at us or pretending that we are talking nonsense is not going to help. As long as the question of land is not being addressed in this country, as long as the question of land is not being addressed seriously, as long as we are being ridiculed, we will continue to fight. That is why, for example, we are challenging these elections results because they were rigged. They were rigged. We know as a fact that we won, certainly convincingly, even in KZN. We know that as a fact. Our results, our votes were stolen and given to certain people who are now comfortably. We will continue with the fight until such time that we get our land back. Thank you.
Thank you.